It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. It's also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the globe on citinewsroom.com. I am Wilma Obuobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I'm here with
Caleb Kudah.
Coming up, coalition of individual bondholders groups, including pensioner bondholders, besiege Finance Ministry to demand payment of matured bonds that were not tendered under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program.
The only thing that the government have to do now is to pay. And you recall that the minister promised that government was going to pay on 21st. And now it's about 6 days gone. We are now 27th. We haven't heard a word from the minister.
Also coming up, tension mounts in Begra in the Fantiakwa North District following decision by Overlord of Achem Ebuakwa State, Ochehene Amwetia Oforipeni, to install a new Begra Hene on Thursday, March 2. Still ahead, we'll bring you a report where a girls' dormitory block constructed for the Asante Senior High School under GET Fund has not been made available for use nearly 2 years after its completion. And later, results still trickling in 48 hours after Nigerians went to the polls.
Yeah, it's a big deal because, for a presidential candidate losing his home state is a big blow to the political party and to the ruling party, of course. But you have to understand that the politics of Nigeria is quite dynamic.
Stay tuned as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is live on all our partner stations. In the Upper West region, we're on Tumpani Radio 88.5 in Nadoli, and then Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa. Upper East, we're on Rekas 92.1 FM in Bongunamu. And Northern region, we're on North Star Radio 92.1 in Tamale. In the Northeast region, we're on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalirigu. The Western region, we're on Beach 105.5 FM in Takoradi. In the Ashanti region, you're listening to us on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Sela Radio 97.1 in Dabala and Holy FM 98.5 in Aflao. And in the Savannah region, we're on Kasha 99.5 in Damongo.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful you could stay with us. We'll settle for the details of our stories now. Now, a coalition of individual bondholders groups made up of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, Individual Bondholders Association of Ghana, and the Individual Bondholders Forum have stationed at the Finance Ministry to demand the payment of matured bonds that were not tendered under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. Government failed to honor coupon and principal payments that matured on 6th and 20th February, although the finance minister promised to pay on February 21 after the settlement period of the DDEP. Here is a member of the coalition, Dr. Edu Ananientri, speaking to Citi News.
We have bonds that has matured on the 6th and another one on the 20th. These were supposed to be part of the bonds that were going to be restructured. And as you are aware, some of those bonds were not tendered in. Either they were exempted or people decided on their own not to tender in. So you expect the government to, after the settlement date, be able to now determine who hasn't tendered in their bond and therefore needed to be paid and make the arrangements to pay. But from the 20th, which was the settlement day, from 21st, we're expecting payment, but up to now, the payment hasn't come. And so we have to come here and check on the minister to find out why those payments have not been made.
Don't you think it takes a while to sort, bonds that have been tendered, those that have not been tendered, bonds that were exempted? It takes a while to sort all these things out. Probably the reason why the monies have not been paid yet, so you give the minister a bit of time.
No, that one has passed. That was the reason why the settlement day was moved from 14th to 20th, because if everybody has tendered in, the settlement day could have remained the 14th, because you just clear all the old bonds and issue new bonds to your investors. But because of the problem of people not having tendered in their bond, there was a need for some period to be able to identify which the persons that have not tendered in their bonds and not cancel their bonds, pension funds, pensioners, and other people who stayed out. You have to be careful so that you don't cancel their old bonds and issue new bonds. So that was a tedious job that they have to do. So I can agree if they couldn't do it on the 14th and they asked for one additional week, that was fine. But the additional week has happened, and government was able to complete settlement issues on the 20th, which was the settlement day. So after the settlement day, activities have been completed. The only thing that the government have to do now is to pay. And you recall that the minister promised that government was going to pay on 21st. That means a day after the settlement day, where they now know who and who must be paid. So if 21st, and now it's about 6 days gone, we are now 27th, so we have to come. And we haven't heard a word from the minister as to why those payments haven't been made. And that's why there's a need for us to come and find out what is happening.
So this is not an agreed meeting with the minister?
No, it's not an agreement. It's just like if somebody owes you and you are going to take your money, anytime you feel like going, you go and you knock at the door, I'm coming to take my money. So it's not an agreed meeting. It is creditors who are saying, we haven't received our money, we want to find out what is happening.
That was a member of a coalition of the individual bondholders, Dr. Edu Anani Entry.
A renowned Islamic scholar and the Imam of Dauru Hadith Institute for Islamic Studies in the Ashanti region, Sheikh Anas Tawfiq Ibrahim Bakri, has joined a growing list of calls for a multi-stakeholder collaboration to finding lasting and urgent solutions to the conflict in Boko in the Upper East region. He says the conflict in Boko has since compromised the security of the country and continues to taint Ghana's global image as a citadel of peace in the sub-region. Addressing journalists in Kumasi, Sheikh Anas Tawfiq appealed to the indigents to lay down their weapons in the interest of peace and also called on the government to step up a special relief fund for victims displaced by the conflict.
We at Darul Hadith renew our call to the people of Boko to do more and lay down their weapons in the spirit of peace and unity that Islam teaches. We plead that they silence their guns and peacefully coexist, as happened some 1,440 years ago in the era of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam between Aus and Khazraj in Medina after centuries of war between the two clans. We call on all stakeholders, including government, Nairi, Kusasi chief, civil society organizations, the media, faith-based organizations, northern political and business elites, youth groups, Mamprusi and Kusasi graduates and students organizations, women groups, and the entire Ghanaian community to join hands in waging an enduring peace in Boko. This deserves our complete and clear support. We call on the government to set up a special relief fund for the people of that area, especially for women and children, as they continue to lose their businesses and breadwinners through this conflict. This unnoted humanitarian crisis in the area is further deepening the problem.
Sheikh Anas Tawfiq Ibrahim Bakri is a renowned Islamic scholar and the Imam of Dauru Hadith Institute for Islamic Studies in the Ashanti region.
Now, economist Courage Boti has stated that the recent upgrade by S&P Global Ratings of Ghana's local currency debt is to be expected. He, however, notes that if the government does not speedily make progress with the external debt restructuring and honor its financing agreements and outstanding coupons with bondholders, the situation will be reversed. Rating on Ghana's local currency debt was upgraded by S&P Global Ratings recently as the country settled its debt exchange domestic debt exchange with bondholders. Courage Botti has been speaking to Citi News.
My information is that some coupons have been processed. If there is any outstanding, I am hopeful that they will be paid. But then there is still a lot to go before we can begin to see significant improvement. Government has to make progress with external debt restructuring. As it stands, we know the situation with China and, of course, some of the other key bilateral creditors. Until we sit down with them and secure those financing assurances, we are not getting the board level approval that will mean that the reforms envisaged have started and the financing envisaged have started coming in to start to correct the macro imbalances and then the fiscal imbalances really, and especially to try to reverse the debt situation we have at hand. So while the reversal of the rating back to CCC is to be expected once you are honoring your credit obligation, our debt is still rated at very at default levels. And so if we stand by our suspension of external debt service directive, then we will remain in selective default for those, the Eurobonds, or if you like, our external debt, foreign currency debt in the meantime. So the quicker we resolve the issue with the bilateral creditors and advance the conversation debt restructuring for the externals, I mean, if we do that fast, then yes, there could be progress. But if we delay like it seems now, then we could have this default situation hanging on us for quite a time.
Courage Botti is an economist. Now, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has won the largest number of votes in Lagos, the state with the most voters, according to results announced by election officials. The victory is significant as Bola Tinubu, the candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, governed the state from 1999 to 2007. However, Mr. Obi has been predicted to win Lagos, where many of his young educated supporters are based. We are joined over the phone lines by a journalist in Nigeria, Ibrahim Mansour, to tell us more on this. Good afternoon, sir. Many thanks for joining us. What is the atmosphere in Nigeria like this morning?
Good afternoon, and happy to join you guys. Yeah, it's still all, the solutions are still coming in, but the biggest shocker so far is the Labour Party, who is a new kid in the block, winning Lagos State. I mean, Lagos State belongs to the home state of the presidential candidate for the APC. So it's still a big shocker for everyone. We're still trying to process the win.
Hello, sir.
Are you there?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Yes. Okay. So it's still a shocker for everyone, but most people will say they saw it coming because it's more like making a statement that the youth can actually come out in numbers to cast their vote and at the same time protect their vote, which in the past it wasn't so in the past, where you find a low turnout of voters coming in. But this time around, it was a different ball game.
Now, we heard that there had been fears that some instances of election violence and some ballot snatching might have affected his chances, but it seems to have been very unfounded.
Yes, the party is accusing the ruling party for disenfranchising some of their supporters in some local governments, and usually during the electoral process, you make your case, and the electoral body will take everything into consideration and come back later on to give a final verdict on some of the reports that were reported from some of the cases that were reported from the polling units and all that. So, but the good part is the disenfranchising of the voters didn't affect them taking Lagos, which is a big deal for the Labour Party, which in the last 1 year, I could bet that few people don't know that there's Labour Party, but now they're on the list of everybody, Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party.
Well, finally, what is the security situation there like this afternoon?
The state is safe, the country is safe, everybody has, it's a Monday, everybody has returned to their businesses, the usual activities, everything is going on. It's just that some schools are on break due to the election, which by next week schools will resume. But so far, I drove down from the airport on my way from Kanu down to my office where I'm currently in the capital of the state. Everywhere is peaceful. People are going about their normal activities, their business is going on and all that. It's relatively calm, it's peaceful, no one is protesting, and everybody is glued to their phones and television sets to get the result that is being collected in the INEC head office back in Abuja.
Finally, before we let you go, how many more states are left to be counted?
How many?
How many more states are left to be counted?
To be counted for now, I think for the official states that have been announced now from the electoral body, which is the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja, I think we have about 6. So we still have 30 more states to go, including the country capital, FTP.
Thank you very much for that update. That was a Nigerian journalist, Ibrahim Mansour, giving us an update of the elections that went on in Nigeria over the weekend. Caleb has more stories.
Yes, and we stay in Nigeria because the presidential candidate of the APC, Ahmed Tinubu, has won Ekiti State with over 200,000 votes. His closest challenger, Atiku Abubakar, had over 89,000 votes, while Peter Obi polled over 11,000 votes. Here is an official of INEC announcing the Ekiti State results.
The total number of votes received by the presidential candidates of each of the political parties are as follows. Party A, 69 votes. Party AA, 29 votes. Party AAC, 108 votes. Party ADC, 1,337 votes, 1337. Party ADP, 737 votes, 737. Party APC, 201,494. Party APC, 201,494. Party APGA, APGA, 268 votes. Party APM, 46 votes. Party APP, 91 votes. Party BP, 46 votes. Party LP, 11,397 votes. Party LP, 11,397. Party NNPP, 264 votes. Party NRM, 131 votes. Party PDP, 89,554 votes. Party PDP, 89,554 votes. Party PRP, 48 votes. Party SDP, 2,011 votes. Party SDP, 2011. Party YPP, 81 votes. Party ZLP, 460 votes. Total number of valid votes, 308,171. 308,171. Total number of rejected votes, 6,301. Total number of rejected votes, 6,301. Total vote cast, 314,472. Total vote cast 314,472.
That was an official of INEC announcing the Ekiti state results.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, tension mounts in Begro in the Fantiakwa North District following decision by Overlord of Achim Ibuako State, Ochehene Amweti Ofuripeni, to install a new Begro Hene on Thursday, March 2. We'll bring you details of that and more shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for staying with us. We'll continue with the bulletin. Now, the Koforidua Circuit Court has for the second time remanded into police custody the 10 illegal miners arrested for engaging in galamsey in the Isiakwa portion of the Etiwa Forest Reserve in the eastern region. The suspects were arrested by the forestry guards for mining illegally in the Samang Jaso portion of the Etiwa Forest Reserve. The 10 were remanded again to allow a new judge take over the case as the substantive judge has been promoted. The Kiwi Forestry Division Manager Emmanuel Entry says the suspects will reappear in court on Wednesday, March 8.
The substantive judge has been promoted to the High Court. So a successive one is to be posted to the court. So we are waiting the successors to come and take over the case. So in his absence, we've taken the agenda. So we have to reappear on the 8th of March. Hopefully the judge in charge would have taken over and preside over the case. Now the judicial system has got a system, a procedure by which they will follow. Now they would have to go to what we call the case management. After the case management, they will now come to take their plea. After their plea has been taken, then if they plead not guilty, then they would have to open their defense and also present their witnesses. So all these procedures would have to be followed before the case can be finally decided. So we are waiting for the 8th of March to go back to court and then see where to move from there.
Emmanuel Entry is the Kibi Forestry Division Manager. Caleb has more stories.
Now, the office of the Greater Accra Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Ni Ashimo, has been ransacked by unknown persons. Reports available to City News reveal that the incident occurred on Monday midnight at his office at Teshi First Junction in Accra. According to staff, a laptop belonging to the regional chairman was stolen and other properties vandalized. An account officer at the office, Albert Lutheroyd, tells City News the incident comes as a shock to the staff members and residents in the area.
This morning, we came to work exactly 8 o'clock and we realized that the whole place has been messed up. Both accounts office from the MTN franchise to the cashier's office where they break their plate and they entered to the MTN franchise. From the MTN franchise, they went to the accounts department. Then from there, they passed through the stores. They deploy everything in the office. From the stores, they then get access to those secretary office. Then from those secretary office, the center that will lead it to Honorable Ashimo's office was destroyed. And they entered into his main office to also pick his laptop and other. For now, we can't say anything, but we know the laptop is not there currently. And they also entered into a small room that used to relax. They destroy everything. The place that we keep money to, they try to attend the police. But as I'm talking to you now, due to police investigation, we haven't touched anything. And we have been allowed not to even go to our various officers, but we are all on the place to come and do some investigation here. So as I'm talking to you, all the staff are in front of the company, and we are not being allowed to go upstairs. So that is it. And to be honest, I think the operation was done at a time that the whole rules was a little bit quiet.
personally, we are all worried, we are all showing concern. We are here to see to that all the staffs are around to show solidarity. We are even chatting among ourselves, how strange things happening here and there.
Albert Luthroyd is an account officer at the Office of the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NDC, near Ashimore.
Now, a girls' dormitory block constructed for the Asanteman Senior High School under Get Fund has not been made available for use nearly 2 years after its completion. While the school is grappling with accommodation challenges due to the huge infrastructural deficit it is facing, authorities of the school say they are unable to use the new facility due to security concerns. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim reports.
Asanteman Senior High School is located few miles from the central business district of Kumasi. With the increasing rate of urbanization within the metropolis, the school's limited land size makes it difficult for expansion of infrastructure to correspond with its growing student population. It is in view of this that the government used part of State Boys Basic School land that shares a wall with Asanteman SHS to construct a girls' dormitory block for the school. Sources within the school indicate that the contractors completed the facility and left site in September 2021, but this dormitory block has so far not been used for its intended purpose and looks abandoned. What appears to be worrying for the school authorities is the presence of squatters around the area, which they fear could pose a security threat if not urgently addressed. The assistant headmistress domestic, Georgina Osei, tells Citi News several appeals for authorities to provide security and ensure the operationalization of the facility have not been successful.
The dormitory is completed. It's just with a water system which has not been connected. But we can make use of it without the water system. However, it's because of the security situation at the State Boys where our dormitory is situated. There are a lot of squatters. People pass there through a gate to the race course. And we see that our students are not too secured when we send them there. However, because of the challenge of space here, we are thinking of sending the Form 1s who are coming there and some seniors. We've gone to the relevant authorities. We wrote to the regional director and then to the regional minister. A headmaster and some management members went to the regional minister and then we explained it with a letter to him. He directed first for us to serve those there ejection notice. The ejection notice expired, but nothing was done. For now, Asanteman SHS will be happy if authorities come to our aid so that the place will be secured for us to use our dormitory.
Aside from the issue of the girls' dormitory block, Madam Georgina Osei has also been outlining some infrastructural challenges facing the school, which they want authorities to address.
Asanteman SHS, you can see this, our infrastructure here. It's been there since 2015. It's now been completed. It's an administration block which was started by the previous administration. So we wish that they come to complete it with that. We also have an audit, a big auditorium which will serve as dining hall and an assembly hall. It has also become a standstill. So we need authorities to come to our aid. We have a lot of challenges, just to mention but a few. We also need an incinerator.
Residents in the area are equally disturbed about the non-operationalization of the girls' dormitory block. Bosie Amponsa Mensa is a unit committee member of Abripo Junction electoral area.
The community at large is much disturbed because state funds used to build such a big edifice and then is of no use.
When contacted, the Kumasi Metropolitan Education Director, David Opon, outlined some measures to be put in place to address the issues.
The discussions and the consultations that we've done with the headmaster indicate that the block is completed. But the problem with it is that they have to be provided with the water supply facilities over there. And that is very, very important. So the major problem has to do with water, provision of water at the facility. And the second issue has to do with security. You see, the whole Asante State Boys Enclave is under threat. There are a number of squatters who have taken over the place. So before the children or the students can be accommodated at that particular facility, security must be beefed up. So the discussions that we have with the management is that whilst waiting for government recruitment of security personnel to the school, the PTA should step in and hire temporary staff to man the place so that the children will be safe and then secure at that particular area. It's a Get Fund project which has been completed except the provision of water supply to that particular area. So together with the management, the Get Fund, which is the financier or the organization that is providing funding for the project, should be informed so that the consultant who is in charge of that particular project will come to site and provide the water facility for the area. Once it's completed and we are left with the water facilities, every arrangement and measure must be put in place so that they can use that facility, so that we don't experience any congestion within the dormitory, in the school system.
Now, years after the completion of this dormitory block, residents have raised concerns about the fact that it has still not been put to use. They want authorities to ensure that the right procedure is followed and that to be able to put it to good use. For CNews, Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Bantama.
And here in the studios, I am Caleb Kudah with Wilma, Obuobisa, Coleman. In other news, women in 4 communities around Makayele in the Nanumba North Municipality in the northern region are appealing to authorities to urgently provide potable drinking water to prevent an outbreak of diseases in the area. According to them, they currently share the only source of water, which is a dam with livestock such as goats, sheep, and cattle, hence their worry and appeal. Our Northern Regional Correspondent Mohammed Aminu Alabira visited the dam site and comes through with this report.
We are in the dry season, and one major challenge of this is the scarcity of potable water for most communities. In the rainy season, many of these communities depend on rainwater and other water bodies. Communities that are fortunate to have boreholes depend on them. At Makayele on the Bimbila Yendi Road and other communities in the area with a population of about 1,000 residents, they depend on the Makayele Dam. The dam serves not only the people, but their animals too. Women in the community say the dam is no longer safe for them as they share the dam with livestock. City News visited the dam site on Saturday morning to evaluate the situation on the ground. Indeed, a herd of cattle was seen entering the dam, with some defecating and urinating whilst drinking.
So the water, you can't use the water to cook.
So what are you doing with the water if you can't use it to cook? Do you drink the water? Mr. Nimua is a leader in the Makayele community, and he has been speaking to City News about the situation.
This is the only source of our drinking water. It's a dam. And looking at the nature of the dam, the water has become green. It's so dirty that the women cannot use it. Even though some of the women, they fetch the water. But others have decided to drill some small holes by the riverside there, where they can get drinking water that is clean. Due to the nature of the dam, the animals, a lot of the animals, they drink there. They drink, they shit, they urinate into the water. The water is so dirty that it's not fit for human consumption. So we are suffering. If you look at the water, we are suffering. Every morning, the women share the water with the animals. And it's a pity. We have no other source of getting water.
This is the only dam serving the community. But others are urinating inside. After drinking, the animals will defecate inside. The women say the water is so dirty that they have dug some small wells here, such that water will collect inside, and to them, our water is more pure than the dam water. From Maka Uni community, Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira for City News.
Now to some other stories. Some National Democratic Congress NDC members of parliament who have picked up, nomination forms to contest in the upcoming parliamentary primaries in their constituencies have expressed hope of retaining their seats. This follows the opening of nominations for presidential and parliamentary primaries in some constituencies on February 22, 2023 by the NDC. In the following report by Citi News' Philip Nilate, some of the MPs highlighted some key developments within their jurisdictions due to their interventions.
The National Democratic Congress on February 22 opened its portals for individuals who are interested in becoming parliamentary candidates on the ticket of the NDC to pick up their nomination forms. The period for the picking up of the nomination forms started from February 22 and is expected to end on February 24. On the City Newsroom, I'll engage some of these interested persons who are hoping to be parliamentary candidates in the various constituencies.
They've seen what I've done, and there's a certain narrative out there that Adenta constituency is a one-term constituency where everybody does just one term and it's changed. I don't agree with that assertion. It's not entirely correct. When you look at the figures, it doesn't suggest that. NDC hasn't repeated any candidate twice since 2004 when the elections, when the constituency was created. So for 2004, we had a different candidate. For 2008 elections, we had a different candidate. For 2012, we had a different candidate. But for the first time, Adenta repeated a candidate twice. NDC repeated a candidate twice between 2016 and 2020. And they saw the dividends of that.
I picked the forms yesterday. And I didn't only pick, I filed accordingly. And my prayer is that things should fall in their places and I will be able to win the primaries. I'm a first-timer, and first-timer with opposition in parliament. But I didn't use that as an excuse. And I didn't come to add up only to the numbers too. To my own estimation, I performed. And if you could go to my area and ask the people, fair assessment will tell you that I may be hovering around 80% of the score.
One of the reasons why I even contested in the first place is because, and I've said this on your platform, if you recall, that in the 9 constituencies in the southern part of the Volta region, no woman had ever represented the people in parliament. And I thought that was not a good impression we have made of ourselves as women from the southern part of the Volta region. So in 2019, I put myself up to do that, to break that jinx and to make that crack in the ceiling. I was successful, and 2 years down the line, the party has decided that even though it's not yet 4 years, we should contest the elections again. I have started a process, and I need more than the one term to do it. I'm particularly interested in the human capital development of my people.
We all know that the NDC has open nomination, and I have picked a form. Indeed, let me also mention that the form that I picked was paid for by friends who are Dagabes and lobbyists in the Bole Bamboy constituency. And so if today my brothers who for some reasons we've been able to work together, some of them have gotten jobs through our efforts, and some of them are friends. Today they have also mobilized to pay for my filing fee. I can only register my appreciation and to thank them sincerely for this honor done me. Clearly, it tells you that we are on the ground and that the people will repose the trust they have in us to continue to represent them in Parliament. I want to ask that as they contribute to my success, they contribute to my effort to represent the people, they also work hard on the ground to ensure that His Excellency, the former president's votes will increase, whilst we also retain the seat.
I'd want to appeal to them 2 years down the line. We've been able to do a few things, and I want to assure them that the 2 years that is left, even though we are going for primaries, when given the nod, or even with the 2 years that is left, there's a library project that I'm going to undertake. And so the land is about to be ready. You know, in the city, most of the time we have issues of land. And so the land will be ready soon. And I believe that by the close of this year, we'll get that project started. And there are areas like the La General Hospital where I keep talking about, and I believe something is going to be done about it. And so when they vote for me again, they should be rest assured that as I began with them, we are going to continue to make sure that Dade Kotopon will get to where it has to get to.
Yeah, make strive in terms of intervention in health, in terms of apprenticeship program, in terms of job creation, giving skills training to the people, looking at my people, what work they have been doing in terms of initiative we are putting in place for the canoe, people to own canoe as well as net for fishing in Kita Lagoon. We are talking about schools, educational reforms, and then in terms of renovation of some schools, health facilities, and then this, not by my might, is by His grace, as well as NGOs who are very kind to get the constituency to support us to achieve that within these 2 weeks, so 2 years.
These aspiring parliamentary candidates want the delegates to vote for them to become parliamentary candidates and also move on to become members of parliament within these constituencies on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Philip Latte.
And back in studio here at Adabraka on the Citi Prime News, I'm Wilma Obuobisa Coleman here with Caleb Kudah. Still ahead in the bulletin, police in the central region intensify efforts to arrest persons who stoned a 22-year-old man at Dentra Fobinsu in the Upper Dentra West District of the central region. We have more stories after this break. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
More. It's something we're promised a lot these days. But what does more actually look like? Well, in Emirates Economy, it's endless entertainment on the biggest screens in the sky plus live sport. That's more. Gourmet cuisine that gives you a taste of your destination, served with free-flowing drinks. That's more. Special meals and toys for kids to keep your little explorers happy. That's more. So whichever way you look at it, more really does mean more in Emirates Economy. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Ghana is a country that's full of historical antecedents and rich cultural heritage. What is a rich cultural heritage without soul food? And what is soul food without a touch of ethnicity? And what is ethnicity if it's not from your village? This season of all things Ghanaian is upon us, and we are here to celebrate an aspect of our Ghanaianness with the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar, happening live from the 25th to the 26th of March 2023 at the forecourt of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Come, let's treat ourselves to delectable, authentic Ghanaian cuisine from the northern, the middle, and the southern zones of the country that reflect our true cultural diversity. While at it, we'll be jamming to genuine Ghanaian music amidst games, competitions, storytelling, and so much more. Interested vendors of indigenous foods are invited to register. Don't let this be another missed opportunity. Call 0205-973-973 to book a stand and be part of the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar 2023. Anyame men, the country make hoto. So come, let's enjoy some good food, resounding music, heartfelt camaraderie, and remind ourselves why Ghana is still our home at the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar on the 25th and the 26th of March 2023. 2023 at the forecourt of the AMA from 8 a.m. each day. The Back to Your Village Fruit Bazaar is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Volta Ghana Limited, Malta Guinness, and African Business Bureau.
Business introduces too much business packages for businesses and SMEs. Yes, it be too much value. It be too much flexibility. It be too much everything so on Vodafone, too much business. And the best part is you can now take your business up another level. Wow. Choose the voice, data and SMS package that suits your business size and ambitions with Vodafone Too Much Business. That means more data for your business with the ability to roll over on used data, more SMS, more minutes for Vodafone to Vodafone calls, and Vodafone to other networks, plus free calls amongst your employees, all in one mobile package. There is too much value you get on the best mobile plan in Ghana today. To sign up, SMS start to 050-777-9000 or email vodafonebusiness.gh@vodafone.com.
Vodafone, further together. Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, police in the Central Region have intensified their effort to arrest persons who stoned a 22-year-old man at Dentra Fobensu in the Upper Dentra West District of the Central Region. The deceased, Evans Reku, was stoned to death over his alleged involvement in a robbery incident at a mining site in the community. The family of Evans has reiterated their calls on the police to speed up their investigations. Citi News sources indicate that the family has thus been assured by the police of a swift probe after father of the deceased visited the Dentra police today to seek an update on the matter.
Now, most commercial buildings in the Kumasi metropolis and parts of the Ashanti region that attract large numbers of patrons have not been insured. This is of concern to the National Insurance Commission and the Ghana National Fire Service, who have stepped up sensitization and enforcement to get the owners to take the necessary steps to ensure the identified properties. Commercial facilities that house banks, shops, restaurants, and hotels are expected by law to be insured, but most of the buildings, including private hostels at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, have not been insured. Deputy Ashanti Regional Manager of the National Insurance Commission, Peter Affle and Cancer tells Citi News warning letters have been issued to owners of the facilities.
We have found out that especially most of the hostels in Eidase, the tech catchment area, Eidase, Kote, most of them don't have insurance for their buildings. So we were asked to contact fire service to back up so that we go around and inspect their certificates. In fact, when we came, the penetration is very, very, very low. And most of them seems not even understand why they should do insurance for their building. But we have been able to explain to them, and they are happy. They've taken our contacts, they've taken the insurance company that we came around with, their contact that they will do it. And in fact, we have also issued out warning letters to them. And then the warning letters we have given them, previously we came last year, July 22nd, to give them letters to do it. If they don't do it, we enforce it.
That was the Deputy Ashanti Regional Manager of the National Insurance Commission, Peter Affle on Cancer. Meanwhile, fire officers who were part of the inspection of the enforcement exercise also revealed that some of the commercial buildings had no fire certificates. The officer in charge of the investigations at the KNUST fire station, ADO1 Okante Griffin, spoke about what they found.
With this exercise, we realized that it falls in our mandate also, that is fire precaution premises. That is LI 1724, 2003. We realized that all apartments, all buildings ought to have fire certificates in line with the insurance. So with this exercise, we realized that some buildings, some apartments, some hostels are not having. And with that, education is ongoing, not only here as in KNUST, but other places in the whole region, also in Ghana also. Note that before you even acquire building permit, you will need a fire certificate. You will need Ghana Tourist Authority permission with that certificate also. There are so many processes you go through. So it's not only about getting the certificate, but also in case of any emergencies, these things also help in acquiring or retrieving your insurance or your claims at the long run. Per the exposure that we've had, most often than not, individuals are reluctant.
ADO1 Okante Griffin is the officer in charge of an investigation at the KNUST fire station.
Now, officials of the National Insurance Commission have intensified surveillance and are collaborating with law enforcement agencies to track and arrest persons behind the issuance of fake motor insurance to drivers and other vehicle owners. The Commission, with support from the Motor Transport and Traffic Department of the Ghana Police Service, is embarking on an exercise to check the validity of motor insurance policies by vehicle owners. Citi News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
5 vehicle owners were recently arrested for using fake insurance policies. 2 of the drivers are currently facing charges in court, and 1 other was fined while another driver has absconded. The arrest of these vehicle owners has led to the arrest of a suspect who produces fake motor insurance for vehicle owners. Ashanti Regional Manager of the National Insurance Commission, Dennis Farouk Dramani, indicates the Commission is on high alert to get persons behind the production of fake motor insurance.
So we traced up, we did a lot of investigation. The person who produces the fake insurances at the DVLA premises in Kumasi were able to lay surveillance on the person and got the person arrested on the 27th of January. And the person is also currently facing the law courts. And when we arrested the person, truly, when we did a search, we found a couple of fake insurances in the bag of that particular culprit. And so when we are doing this kind of exercise, these are the people we are looking for. It is not the drivers, but the persons who are on the ground producing the fake insurance and giving to the drivers are our target. And thank God that we were able to get that person arrested at the DVLA.
Officers of the Commission and the Police MTTD have started enforcement in parts of the Ashanti region and are using the motor insurance database system to check the validity of the policy. The Commission has warned it will ensure that the laws deal with producers of fake motor insurance policies.
Because of the motor insurance database, there is no way somebody can be holding a fake insurance and will not be caught. You can do the insurance in Kumasi or Accra, but you will drive to Tamale and the police in Tamale will get you, or the insurance office in Tamale will get you. Or you can go to Bolga or Paga or anywhere in the country. Because we have trained the police in such a way that every vehicle that they stop, one of the first things they have to do is to check the authenticity of the insurance in the database. And so you don't have an escape route at all. The police are everywhere all over the country. So don't think that if you do it at one place, you'll be able to dodge and go and use the vehicle at another place and you will not be caught. Now to the producers of the fake insurances. A word to the wise is enough, because you better stop before the law catches up on you. If the law catches up on you, I am not a judge, but I tell you, I can give you a lot of evidence of several people that have actually been jailed. People that were given 5 years sentence for producing fake insurances. And so those who are into it, they should better stop before the law will catch up on them.
Drivers who have not insured their vehicles or had the policy expired are made to do it instantly. This driver, however, raised some concerns about the general insurance policy.
30 years, on the claim bia, on for claim biamba. I also am on incentive be and count. But Nipa no idea a friend expire for a day. Now the person is being treated as a criminal. It's not nice. For now, me chase I do, a lawyer is not involved. But when I want to do a claim, I have to involve a lawyer. Now, I see the office now, 4th floor. Open until do now collaborate. You are not going to pursue it again. And nice. It should be a win-win situation.
Both commercial and private vehicle owners are required by law to insure their vehicles with certified and recognized insurance companies before driving on the road.
Officials of the National Insurance Commission say they will continue to collaborate with the police and go after
producers of fake motor insurance and ensure they are dealt with by the law. Hafiz Tijani, City News, Ashanti Region.
And back in studio, I'm Wilma Obuobisa Coleman here with Caleb Kudah. This is still the Citi Prime News. Now, some stories we have been bringing you so far is the coalition of individual bondholders groups, including pensioner bondholders, besiege Finance Ministry to demand payment of matured bonds that were not tendered under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. We also brought you a report where a girls' dormitory block constructed for the Asanteman Senior High School under Get Fund has not been made available for use. Has not been available for use nearly 2 years after its completion, and also results still trickling in 48 hours after Nigerians went to the polls. Caleb has more stories.
Now, with just 5 days to the 2023 Heritage Caravan, management of Noda Hotel is promising a warm accommodation for patrons of the program. The caravan is scheduled to make a stop in the Ashanti region to visit tourist sites like Bonyere, a Kente Weaving Hub, and other attractions. During the stop, the over 150 patrons will be hosted by Noda Hotel, situated between Adreso and Fumesia. Speaking ahead of the trip, manager for Noda Hotel, Ernest Joseph Youngson, assured patrons of a thrilling experience at his facility.
Immediately afterwards, in fact, a business, in terms of patronage, went up. Our research showed that most of the people who were part of that trip at that time wanted to come back to Noda, and most of them came. It also helped us market the hotel. You know, Citi TV is a very strong player in the electronic media industry in Ghana here, and once you associate yourself with TBTV, believe you me, you'll never find yourself wanting. Don't expect anything continental. We want to go local. We want to surprise our guests with something like a papransa. I believe most of these guests may have not tasted a papransa in the past 3, 4, or 5 years. And a whole lot of activities on board, which I want to keep in the box until the D-Day.
Ernest Joseph Youngson is the manager for Noda Hotel. Now, the Heritage Caravan 2023 is powered by Citi TV in partnership with the Ghana Tourism Authority, with support from Citi FM, and proudly sponsored by Hollard Ghana, the European Union, Malta Guinness, Ebony Condoms, Goyle Company Limited, National Lotteries Authority, Baltic Mineral Water, and Colgate Natural Extracts.
Now, a man who claims to be an agent for the Ghana Education Service has been arrested at the Free from the Secretariat by